Hello, hopefully all of you are doing good. Now in the previous video we have seen like how to work with different JSON functions with the eval command in Splunk, right? So mainly we learned about like this JSON underscore object and then JSON underscore set and then JSON underscore array, these three functions there, right? So now let us continue from there whatever we left off in the previous video, and we will try to learn some more functions today. So just for a small recap, so what we have done it there is basically we were trying to basically create a JSON object from the Splunk event, right? That is what our main purpose over there, right? And while doing that, we created this kind of structure here, right? Under movies genres, so there are two different kinds of science fiction genre, like under space travel and time travel we created this keys over here. And also we have used the JSON underscore set to update a particular array element as well there, right? So as we are taking an approach where we are just testing out with the JSON underscore data underscore new, just to match with like what changes we are doing with the current structure. So I think it looks good. So let us do one thing. Let us remove that underscore new so that the JSON underscore data itself will be updated with the changes we are doing it over here. Okay, so this will be our JSON underscore data. Now the first function we will be discussing is the JSON underscore append. Now the JSON underscore append basically helps us to add a particular element or list of elements to an array. Mainly it's basically work with the array. Now we will try to see an example today and try to see whether we can use this JSON underscore set as well to achieve the same stuff or not. Okay, so let us first try to do one thing. Let's add another movie over here in the space travel. So initially we added this movie, but later we updated with moon, right? So let us add back this guy over here in the space travel, this key under this key over here. So we have an array over here, right? So we can do something like this one, eval. So we will take similar approach. Let's say JSON underscore data underscore new, so that we can see what's going on over there and compare like what was previously there and what new changes we have done. Once we are satisfied, we will merge it back to JSON underscore data as well. So we said there is a method called JSON underscore append here, APPEND, append. So the inputs of the JSON underscore appends are similar to whatever we have seen JSON underscore set. So it basically works in a very similar fashion. Only thing is that it basically works with the array. So the first thing we need is a JSON object, which is nothing but our JSON underscore data. Second thing we need is a path and value combinations. Now in the previous video I have missed to discuss one thing, is like in the JSON underscore set you can give multiple paths and value combination. So we'll see one example with the JSON underscore append today. So similar stuff we can do with the JSON underscore set as well. So we are trying to update the space travel, this particular key value over here, right, which is an array. So what I'll do is I'll copy this guy here. Now I will just mention the key name till the key name we want to mention, because we need to give the key name which basically holds an array over here. Now here is two things, basically three things. It could be possible that for a particular key value there is no array, it's a null value. So in that case this guy will basically create that value as an array here. Similarly, if it is an array, it will automatically append to that array. If we have a scalar value, let's say string value, so in that case basically it will append that string in an array and then it will add that new element there here. Okay, so that's the stuff it will do. So we have given a path and let's give a value, let's say Star Trek over here. Okay, so if I just run this one now, so this is the one new data, and if you see it, this guy has been updated. This guy has been added to that particular array over here. Now let us try to see whether we can provide multiple path and value methods here. So let us try to add another movie in the time travel. Okay, so let us give another path value pair, something like this one, comma. So now we need to find another array which is our time travel movies, right? So I will just give this key name over here, time travel, and let's add a very interesting movie called Primer here. If you have not watched this one, you should watch this one. This is a very complex movie but very fun to watch. So if I just run this one now, if you see it, like under time travel, this guy has been added as well. So that means we can give multiple path and value inputs to this JSON underscore append, as well as in the JSON underscore set as well. So you can do the same stuff over there as well. Fair enough. So, and I think we are satisfied with this one. So we can add to our JSON underscore data as well, something like this one. So it will be basically a same JSON structure, whatever we have started with here. So we have seen how to use JSON underscore append to single array or multiple arrays together, right? Now it may happen that we want to ingest here multiple movies, let's say 2 different movies over here. So how can we add that? Probably we can create an array object and we can try to add using this JSON underscore append here, right? So let us try that. So we will take similar approach, eval JSON underscore data underscore new, right? So as I said, we are going to add two movies over here. Let's say Star Trek and some another movie. So I'll just copy this guy here, and instead of passing a single element over here, what I can do is I can create an array using the JSON underscore array over here, ARRAY, and let's say I am passing 2 movies here. 2 movies here, let's say Avengers here. So if I just run this guy now, if you see it here, like it was updated accordingly, but it has created another element, another array as an element into this outer array over here, right? So that means it is basically adding as is whatever we are trying to add over here. Now in some scenarios it may be desirable, but in most of the scenarios you want to flatten this particular array as well over here. Like I want to pass multiple movies over here, but I just do not want to create an inside array over here as an element. So in that case, to overcome this particular challenge, so we cannot use JSON underscore append there now. Okay, so there is another function called JSON underscore extend, which will basically help us to do that. So it basically, before ingesting that particular array as an element over here, it basically flattens that particular array and try to ingest it over here. So something like this one. So if I just do JSON underscore extend here instead of JSON underscore append, so what will happen? If you see it here, like previously it was, okay, I think previously we have a Star Trek, right? So it is multiple Star Trek movies, that is fine. Okay, so it basically, if you see it, like these 2 new movies we have added it over here, right? So it basically flattens that array and then ingested that array as an ingested basically those 2 elements in the outer array over here. Okay, so this is how this 2 method works, the JSON underscore append and the JSON underscore extend here. Now the question arises, like, can I implement this? Can I do the similar stuff, whatever we are doing it over here, using JSON underscore set just to create a new element? Now unfortunately I am not able to achieve it actually, but let me show you, like if we use JSON underscore set, what it should be. Okay, then maybe you can try from your end as well and see like whether you are getting the same result or not. So let us do one thing. Let us start from the same stuff, like same data set, whatever we have it before. Okay, because we want to add 2 new movies over here, right? So and we did that using the JSON underscore append before. So let us remove this line as well. I just wanted to give an example of the JSON underscore extend, so that's why I just created that particular array stuff. So this is fine now. Okay, so we want to achieve something like this one. So we want to add this movie as well as this movie in the array over here, right? So as I said, we want to try with JSON underscore set. So instead of JSON underscore append, we can use JSON underscore set. Let's try that. Now, as I discussed in the previous video, if you want to use JSON underscore set, so you need to specifically mention the index of that element here, right? Because if you see it, when we updated something, we have given the index name so that it will update over here. Now you want to ingest this particular movie at the location at the index 3 over here, right? Select 0 because it's a 0 based index. So 0, 1, 2, 3 over here. So if I give something like this one in the curly bracket 3 and then Star Trek, similarly for time travel as well 3, it did not create that particular element over here. So either I am doing something wrong, or probably there is a bug in this JSON underscore set which is not creating this particular element. But in the documentation, as per the documentation, it should create that particular element over here, but it is not. Anyway, let me know like how it goes for you. Okay, so but if we use JSON underscore set, we should be using it something like this one over here. So let's move on to some other commands. Now let's talk about an interesting function called JSON underscore set underscore exact. Now to demonstrate that, so let me remove this one for now. So we have this one over here, right? So under science fiction, we have created two keys over here, space travel and the time travel. Now it may happen that in your key name, you have some special character, let's say dot. So let's say instead of time travel over here, I have something like this one, dot here in the JSON underscore set. And if you see it, once I have given dot, it basically takes as a hierarchy over here, right? So it created the time key, under that it created the travel key, and then it has appended this particular array over here, which is not desirable for us. It may happen that we want to exclude that one, right? So in that case, there is another function called JSON underscore set underscore exact. So exact over here, which will basically ignore this dots over here. So it basically creates this whole thing as a key because it will ignore all the dots over here. Okay, so that means it will basically create this key under the movies over here, basically the same hierarchy as movies over here in the base node. But it is good to know that there is a method called exact over here. Maybe in our use case, it will be something like this one, but in your use case, maybe you have some other special character in your key name, right? So in that case, you can use this particular method to create that particular key as is. So if I just run this one, if you see like it has created a key something like this one, right? So time, movies, genre, science fiction, time travel, it basically ignores this dot. So it basically do not think these things as a like special character or hierarchy in the JSON, right? So it will work something like this one over here in the exact method here. So now let's revert it back. So we have our original JSON document over JSON object over here. Now whenever you will be creating some JSON object here, right? So you want to validate whether it's a valid JSON or not, right? So there is another method for that. So let's say eval is underscore valid. So you want to send to the third party system only when your JSON is valid or not. So there is a method called JSON underscore valid over here, which basically returns true and false. But true and false we cannot display it over here. So we will use something like this one. If JSON underscore valid, which one? It needs a JSON object. So I will just give the JSON data which we want to validate. If it is valid, we want to return true. a string called true, or we want to return false over here, a false over here. Okay, so this is, we can write this kind of structure, and if it is a valid JSON, it should return true over here. Okay, similarly, if you want to extract the keys of the JSON, so you can basically give the JSON object, and there is a function called JSON underscore keys, which will basically return the keys. But you need to remember, like, it will only give you the main JSON object key, like it will not give you the internal keys over here. So if I write something like this one, eval keys equals to, so there is a method called JSON underscore keys here, where you need to pass a valid JSON object. So this is the one, right? So if you do that, now if you see it, it's only giving me the movies, which is the topmost element over here, the parent root key over here. Okay, so it will not give you like any other inside keys, because we have only one key. The value is a JSON structure over here for this key, right? So that is what it is giving me as a key. So if you have multiple keys in this outer JSON, outer structure over here, it will give you the multiple keys name over here as well as a array over here. Now let us remove these two guys over here. We'll go back to our original JSON object. Now if you want to extract from some values from whatever JSON object you have created, so there are a couple of methods over here. So there is a method called JSON underscore extract. So if I just do something like this one, eval, let's say extracted data, I just create a new field equals to, let's say I want to extract this guy over here, this data over here, this array under space travel. So what I'll do is I'll use JSON underscore extract, right? Now it needs similar inputs like JSON underscore set or JSON underscore append. So first thing is it needs a valid JSON object. Otherwise, if this JSON object is not a valid one, it will basically give you a blank reply, like it will not return anything over here. Okay, you need to remember this one, and this is true for all these commands over here. Now I want to extract this guy, right? So that means I will give a path, something like this one here. So I'll just copy this guy and then we will make it a change. So I'll just go till this one, like movies, genre, science fiction, space travel, this one. So that means I want this array to be returned over here. And if I just run this one now, if you see, the extracted data contains this particular array over here, right? And if you want to extract a specific element, you can always give the index name we have given, right? That's the first element. Let's say first element will be 0, right? So it will basically give you the first movie name over here. Okay, so the time travel one, just do not get confused. So it is a separate key over here. Okay, anyway, so this is how it will be working over here. And as I said, like if you have some special character in your key name, so you can use the exact version of this one, exact. So JSON underscore extract underscore exact. So that method you can use to extract that particular data. Otherwise, input wise they are same here. Okay, so now let us talk about two different function over here. Like let's say if you have multi values in your field value as a field value, right? And you want to create a JSON array from that, or let's say you have JSON array, you want to convert it to a multi-value field. So that is what you can do with two different functions. One is the MV to JSON and another is the JSON to MV. So for that, we'll just try to work with a very simple solution now, very simple data now. Let's delete this one. Let's first see, let's create a multi-value field now. So let's say I have a multi-value field, something like this one, space travel movies. So where I have created using the MV append, I have created these 3 movies over here, and I want to add these 3 movies as an array in my JSON object here, right? So let me copy that line where we were creating that space travel movies. Now if I do that one, so initially we were doing something like this one, right? So we created this Star Wars, these three movies as a JSON array, and then created this particular JSON structure over here. But now these three guys are coming from this field value over here, which is a multi-value field for me. So basically I need to find a way to convert this multi-value field to an array. So fortunately there is a function called mv to JSON array which will do that stuff. So for now what I'll do is I will remove this guy, right, because we do not need this array. So instead of this we will be using mv to JSON underscore array array here to achieve that one. And here we will pass the field name, the multi-value field name, we have developed it here. So the effect should be similar over here. Okay, so it converts this multi-value object, multi-value field to a JSON array using this method, and then it append over here as a key value for the space travel. Similarly, there is another function called JSON array to multi-value field. So let us try to see that one as well. So let us work with a very simple solution here. So let's say I have a JSON array, something like this one, and I want to convert this to a MV field. So I can do something like this one, eval, right? So let's say data equals to JSON underscore array array to MV here, and here we need to pass a JSON array object over here. Control C, copy, and JSON array object, so which basically converts it to a multi-value field over here, something like this one. Okay, so whenever you need to convert a JSON array to a multi-value field, you can use this particular method to achieve that one. And if you see it, like here in my actual array, so there was the element was like there is a double quote over here which it has removed it, right? So if you want to keep this double quote, so you can pass another boolean value, either true and false. So by default it is false, so that's why it has removed this one. So if you pass true over here, so it will keep this double quotes as well over here. So okay, so based on our requirement we can play around with this one. Okay, so this is how we can use like different JSON objects, JSON functions basically, not objects, with eval in Splunk queries. So hopefully this video was helpful. See you in the next video.